Look at that, Hannah. What does that have to do with me? Let's get back to the action here. We should tell you that while Hannah was off doing gratuitous plugs for the booth talent, that it has rained here at Unadilla. Between motos, they had a heavy shower. The track is slick and muddy as we go to the second leg. And what does the world's greatest motocross announcer predict here for moto number 2?
Oh, boy. Hard to tell who's going to have the advantage here. Europeans ride in more mud than Americans. Dave, let's wait and see.
They are underway. There you see the mud spraying off the rear wheels. The rooster tail into turn 1. Oh, it's slick, and we got trouble. Big pile up in the right-hander. Stanton, number 14, was involved but escaped.
Oh, I can see some pretty heavy hitters in there. Bobby Moore, he's a former world champ. There's Herring is tied up in that thing. And Donnie Schmidt. Good heavens.
What a break for Bader Manet. He has grabbed the early lead. Now, Bader is an American, but he's riding on an Italian license. Trampus Parker is into second spot, and Edwin Evertson will be third through the early running. Going to take about a half a lap for these guys to be completely obliterated with mud, but it's slippery out there.
The real break goes to Trampus Parker, who we had a quick look at. Trampus is running up close to the front there, Dave. He stands to gain the most by Schmidt being down on the ground and gaining no points in that first moto. Trampus can make a real run on the points lead.
As Parker holds on to that second spot for the moto. Now Parker's in trouble up to the left-hand side of your screen, and Evertson goes into second spot. Looked like Parker just kind of got stuck in the mud there for a moment.
He was reaching for his goggles when we saw him, and it could be he's having a vision problem. A lot of mud being thrown back in the faces of these riders.
Bader Manet, a California hotshot who came up through the CMC ranks, has the lead for the moment. Look how treacherous the footing is out there as he heads up the uphill. He's just a spinning and a digging, and Manet is one of those guys who has had kind of an inconsistency in American racing and set his sights on world competition.
A lot of injuries early in his career as a mini bike rider. He was a formidable challenger to all of the mini bike titles, but as you say, he was always right on the edge. He was never quite there for the big time, so as many of the riders did, they went to Europe to seek their fortune.
Manet leads this race. Number 14, Jeff Stanton, got tangled in that first turn shuffle, has come back to sixth. Let's check with Art Ekman for the story of what Stanton did between motos to prepare for the rain.
The rainy weather changed the track conditions, and that kept the crews busy between motos. Honda team manager Dave Arnold, right behind me, said they changed 3 basic things on the bike for this second moto. 1, the tires. They put a more suitable tread down in these sticky, muddy conditions. They changed the radiators because machines tend to run a little hotter in the mud. Then they also made the bike more stable, stiffening the rear for Jeff Stanton for that stability. As far as rider philosophy, just try to stay out from a mud thrower right in front of you so you don't have to eat it. The crews have done their job. Now it's time for the riders to take over. Gentlemen?
Jeff Stanton, who started 10th in the first moto, is a little better off in the second leg. Bader Manet right now has got to be worried about Edwin Evertson, the Dutchman on the Kawasaki, who's got a pretty good line coming in here down on the low side of the racetrack. Draws even with Manet, and he'll have the best line into the next corner, makes the pass, takes the lead.
He's handled the mud much better than Bader Manet has. I would suspect at this point that he is going to pull away from Manet and leave Manet back there to fight for the likes of Trampus Parker, the world champ, defending world champ from America, who's running in a number 3 spot. Stanton still continues to charge, and I'm wondering at this point if Stanton might not be the favorite in this sloppy mud. He's going to let it all hang out with nothing to lose. Some of the guys have to watch their P's and Q's.
There's a glimpse of Parker, and here comes Stanton running fourth as moto number 2 cranks up in the Dodge 250cc United States Grand Prix. We're back picking up the action with the third place man. Bader Manet has lost the second spot to the reigning world champion Trampus Parker. Manet is now under heavy pressure from Jeff Stanton as we work our way through the second of 3 championship races. Lap rider off to the top of your screen in the mud. Oh, and Manet almost hits him. Stanton seizes the moment and squirts by on the inside. Jeff Stanton has taken over third. That will drop Manet to fourth, and the next man in Jeff Stanton's sight will be number 1, Trampus Parker. The mud had taken a toll here. It hung up that back marker for a moment, and he moved right over into the path of Bader Manet, dropping him another position. And I think you're right, Larry. I think Jeff Stanton in the mud is going to be a tough guy to beat, although this guy, Edwin Evertson, seems to be in pretty good control of the situation right now. We'll check the interval back to what is now the battle for second spot, and suddenly it's a good one as Stanton moves to the rear wheel of number 1, the world champ. They're side by side on the Hondas. Give the position to Stanton. He puts Parker away without a struggle.
And again, he did it on the outside. He was trying to stay out of Trampus Parker's way. He wanted to make the pass, wanted to avoid all conflict. He did, an admirable job. He's just doing everything that he has to do out of this racetrack. Two things that come to my mind. One, Stanton is an extremely strong mud rider. But the second thing, Dave, is when it comes to physical conditioning, I doubt if there's another motocrosser in the world that can top Jeff Stanton. I think he's the most physically fit, and in conditions like this, that has to be a telling factor.
He ran him down from 10th in the first race. He narrowly avoided a big tangle in the first turn here in the second race, and now the fans are cheering him on as he tries to become the first man ever to win 3 straight GPs on this racetrack. The rain has made this a sweatshop. It's hot, it's humid. Art Ekman has a report on how to stay cool out there.
It's not easy to see under their helmets, but a couple of the riders are wearing these items around their neck. It's not a bandana. It's not a sweatband. They're gel-filled ice packs that are keeping the riders cooler. The riders we talked to during practice say it works.
I guarantee you, Jeff Stanton is the Iceman under any conditions. He has set his sights here on Edwin Evertson, the leader, and I would go so far as to predict that we're about to see history repeat itself. Monique Berveau folded under the pressure in the first moto. Let's see if Evertson can do any better, but boy, Stanton's coming like a freight train.
Oh, he is. Evertson, every once in a while, he just a slight turn of the head. He doesn't want to take his eyes off the track, and that's what happened to Berveau, as a matter of fact. He got nervous because he was looking at Stanton, and that's what Evertson needs to avoid. Ride the track, keep your eyes on what's happening in front of you. Don't worry about the guy behind you. If he can make the pass, let him make the pass, but hold your position and stay upright.
You see a bobble right there. That's an opening for Stanton. He pulls alongside, and all of a sudden, just like that, Evertson is the second-place man. A lap rider back there. In fact, I think that was Berveau off the racetrack watching that happen and saying, yeah, I know the feeling. And now the crowd waving their hats, waving their towels, waving the American flag, and cheering Jeff Stanton, who again has come from inside the pack to lead here at Unadilla. And quickly the advantage begins to grow. He'll have the option to win this by as much as he wants. And I don't see Trampus Parker attacking the racetrack. Number 1, Parker seems to be in a bit of a cruise control mode. Perhaps not comfortable in the mud. Perhaps it is mechanical. But the third-place man is definitely struggling a little bit. Here is number 18. That is Bader Manet. And he has come under a little pressure for 4th and 5th position now as the laps begin to wind down in this second race.
I think we need to go back and take a look at the points situation, Dave. Remember, Donnie Schmidt, the points leader, scored no points in moto number 1. Now, Parker, along with 3 other riders, Bobby Moore and Puzar, they're in a bunch in that second-place position, and they have an opportunity to move up. And I think that's what's running through their mind. If Schmidt does not do well here, we're going to come out of this thing the victor, so they're going to just play it cool.
Michel Fanton of Italy is the 5th-place man, rider number 10, and he's up here putting some pressure on Bader Manet. That is 4th and 5th spot as they work their way through lap traffic. The number 71 machine is Gary Michael of Canada. He is a lap down. And Fanton, who nobody in this country has ever seen before, is the guy who's turning in a pretty fair ride. Number 14, Jeff Stanton, up front and winging it, and headed for another checkered flag here. He'll have 2 under his belt, assuming that he can keep that Honda upright and cruise to the checkered flag. And I think at this point, the only thing that can befall Stanton would be his own error, and for him to have a lapse of concentration at this point would be very uncharacteristic.
Oh, indeed. Stanton is on cruise control at this point. He knows he has the win in the bag. The crowd is cheering him on. He's playing to the crowd just a little bit. He's going to milk this one. He's going to coast in. He's on the last lap, a couple more corners, and he gets the checkers.
Among the American riders, Stanton has been dominant in this country of late, winning national championships, winning Supercross championships, and now another step closer to winning the USGP. We'll take a look at the rundown. Good ride here for Bader Manet, but qualify this with the fact that several of the top guns were involved in a first-turn crash, and Donnie Schmidt came back to finish 11th. Let's go to Bob Hanna with the race winner.